Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to install Kali Linux inside of Proxmox. For those of you not aware, Kali Linux is a great Linux operating system that does come pre-configured and pre-installed with many great applications for ethical hacking, security analysis and pen testing. I won't go into it in this video because there are lots of other videos out there that cover this subject, but in this video I'm going to be showing you how to download and install Kali Linux inside of Proxmox. Now what you're going to do first is go to kali.org. This is the official website for Kali Linux. Do not download it from anywhere else except for here. You're going to click on download. Now since we are using Proxmox, you're actually going to want to download the bare metal version. The virtual machines, although this would seem like an obvious choice, these are pre-configured images for VMware and VirtualBox. They are not pre-configured for something like Proxmox or Hyper-V or something like that. So click on bare metal and then you're going to download the version you want. 64-bit version, 32-bit version or Apple M1, and download the installer. This is the complete offline installation. This is the most useful. It has the most kind of stuff in it. And it's generally the recommended one, so this is the one that I would recommend. So click on download. I've already downloaded it, so I won't download it again. Once it's downloaded, then hop over to your Proxmox server. So here is one of my Proxmox servers here. Now before we set up any virtual machine, you're going to want the actual image to be somewhere. Now if you have a network storage device and you have put the ISO image of Kali Linux on there, then great. If you have not, you're going to need to add it. Now, Proxmox has a default place for storing ISOs. You can go to local, which will be default in Proxmox, and you'll have a list of different directories. We're going to click on ISO images here, and then you're going to click on upload. You're going to select the file and you're going to click on Kali Linux. And when you click open and click upload, it is going to upload that image to your Proxmox server. Now once it's uploaded, you may need to refresh or just click out and back in. I actually have this on a NAS drive, so I'm going to install it from the NAS, but if you don't have a NAS drive or some other kind of network storage, then you're going to want to load it from this directory here. So now that we have the ISO image, we're going to start up a virtual machine. So we're going to click on the top right hand corner and click create virtual machine. It's going to say which node you want to put it on, which is this one, the ID, it's the next one in line. I'm going to call this one Kali. And I'm going to click on next. Use CD or DVD disk image file, ISO. As you can see, you can select the storage device. Now, if you've only got your local, it will only show local. As you can see here, mine says local and Synology. I'm going to click on Synology. And then if it's in that folder, it will give you the drop-down images of all of the ISO images you have. So I have a few images on this particular NAS. And as you can see, I've got the Kali Linux installer, which we just downloaded a minute ago. Click on that. You can leave the guest OS as default settings. You don't need to change those. Click on next. Graphics card I'm going to leave as default. SCSI controller I'm going to leave as default. Click on next. Bus device, the storage. Now the storage is going to be where it's going to put the actual operating system, like a kind of virtual hard drive. Now obviously if you've used Proxmox before, then you don't need to know about this, but basically it's just going to be where your virtual hard drives are for your operating systems. Mine are located on a network drive because that network drive has got a RAID set up, so it's got some kind of redundancy. If it's on the local, then it's on the local. Doesn't really matter for this purpose. Give it some space. I'm going to give this one 100 gigabytes because I've got the space to do it, so I'm going to give it 100. I'm not going to change anything else about this page. I'm going to click on next. Now for CPU, I'm going to give this like 6 cores. It'll make the installation go quicker, and I've got a few cores to spare, so I'm going to give it 6 cores here. And then we're going to click on next again. For memory, I'm going to give this 8092 megabytes, about 8 gig. This should be plenty. Then I'm going to click on next again. I'm going to leave all this as default as well. Click on next again. Double check all your settings, memory, CPU, stuff like that, and then click on finish. It's going to create the virtual machine. Now normally this doesn't take very long, this will take a few seconds. Once a virtual machine has been created, you'll see it here. It will have a lock sign when it's not ready, but if you click on it, you're going to get the VNC. Now what we're going to do is click on start, so it actually starts the virtual machine, and it's going to boot into it, and then you're going to be greeted with this lovely screen. So I'm going to use the normal installer rather than the graphical one. They're both basically exactly the same, it's just that the graphical one is a little bit more graphical, but I'm going to use this because it's a little bit faster when it loads. So I'm going to click install. I'm going to use the English installation. I'm going to change the territory. I'm going to change this to other. I'm going to go down, going to go up to Europe, and I'm going to go down to Sweden. And for the UTF locale settings, I'm going to use the US. Keyboard, I'm going to use Swedish because that is the keyboard I have. Now, the next stage you're going to get to when it's going to ask you to do something is to pick a host name. Now, I'm going to leave this host name as Kali because I'll only have one of these on my network. If you have some other kind of network setup, you could give it something else. So I'm just going to call it Kali, going to hit enter. For the domain name, I'm just going to call this .local. Now, a full name for the user, I'm going to say my name, hit enter. Username for the account, I'm going to say my name. Password, I'm going to pop in a password. Hit enter again. Confirm the password again. Now, we're going to go through the partition thing. It's pretty straightforward. You can keep it all as default. We'll use the entire disk because it's the virtual hard drive we gave it. 100 gigabytes, as you can see here. I'm going to say yes on that. That's fine. All files in one partition. We're just using it for testing. This is perfectly fine for most people. Hit enter, finish partition, and write changes to disk. Yes. Hit enter again. Write the changes to disk. In this screen, you have to then select yes. So we're going to hit yes. Now it's going to write the partition to that, and it's going to install the base system. This could take a few seconds to a few minutes, depending on your system, but we'll come back once it's done. Okay, so now we're back. For me, that took about 5 to 6 minutes to install, which is not too bad. The next step is going to be to select which kind of system you want to use and a few extra software installation processes. Now, if your computer does not have any kind of dedicated graphics card, my suggestion is to not install KDE Plasma or GNOME. I think it's better to install XFCE. It's a little bit more lightweight, it's a little bit more responsive, especially over VNC, and if you don't have, like I said, a dedicated graphics card. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep everything as standard. The collection of tools I'm going to keep there. I'm going to hit enter to continue. Now, once you've basically installed all of the software, for some people it could take several minutes. For me, it took several minutes, about 20 minutes to actually install everything. It's installed all the tools as well, all the desktop environment, so you have all the tools to use when you actually log in, rather than having to do the installation after. You're going to be presented with the Grub bootloader. This is basically just a bootloader for the operating system. I'm going to install the Grub bootloader to my primary device. I'm going to hit enter. And then you're going to be presented with the next screen. It's going to ask you to make your new system bootable. So what you want to do is go down to the device, and you want to hit enter on the hard drive that you install the operating system on. It's going to install the bootloader, and then after that it should restart. Now that the installation is complete, it's going to say you're going to reboot. Make sure that you don't have the original installation media there. So what we're going to do is hit continue. Once it's rebooted, you should see the Kali Linux logo. It should glow as it's loading into the operating system. And then you'll be presented with the login. I'm going to make this full screen for you. At least a bit bigger. I'm going to type in my username. And I'm going to type in my password. I'm going to hit enter. It is a good idea to have a graphics card if you are going to use the GUI. Because the GUI will be a little less responsive without the graphics card. And there you have it. Now we're booted into the operating system. You can see the start menu is up here. You've got the desktop environment here, which is all good. The mounted ISO image will be there. You can remove that in Proxmox. I will show you that once we shut this down. So now you're booted into the system, you can do everything. In the next video, I'm going to show you around Kali Linux, really basically where to find stuff and where some of the important tools are. So I'm going to click to come out of full screen now. What I am going to do is I'm going to shut down this virtual machine. And once the system is shut down, go to Kali Linux here. I'm going to click on hardware, memory, processors, BIOS, you want to go into the hardware. I'm going to find the image, which is this. We've got the hard disk, the operating system is installed there, but we want to get rid of this CD-ROM DVD where the ISO image is. I'm going to hit remove on that, say yes. So that way when it boots up, it won't even consider the option of installing Kali Linux. It will just only boot into the one that's on the hard drive, which is this one here. So I hope this was easy to follow and helpful for you. If there is anything you want to know, just leave a comment down below as always. In the next video, I'm going to be showing you around Kali Linux. I'm also going to post a video about installing Kali Linux on Windows Hyper-V. If you use Windows Hyper-V, then there'll be that. If you do want to know how to install this on VirtualBox or something like that, then just leave me a comment down below, and depending on what comments I get will depend on which ones come first. So I hope this was enjoyable, and this has been Robert, and I will see you in the next video.